welcome back to my channel. So today's video is all about how to get that perfect base makeup. When it comes to base makeup, the key is skincare. Like, I cannot stress how important skincare is before you apply your foundation on all of that jazz. It's those steps that you do before actually doing your foundation and concealer which play a huge part in the way that your makeup sits. It's about getting your skin all prepped and ready to go before you actually go in and apply your foundation and concealer and any other makeup that you want to apply on your face. In this video, I'm going to be going through all the steps and tips and tricks that I do to get that as perfect base as I possibly can. This video is going to be a chatty one, so before this intro gets really long, let's just jump straight in to showing you guys how I do my base makeup. So before we start on the actual foundation and concealer part of this routine, the one thing that I would like to stress to you all, if you're struggling with getting that perfect base, is to actually work on your skincare beforehand. Now, if you guys have been watching my videos for a while now, you will know there is a combination of two products that I use before doing my kind of perfect base routine. And those two products are the Liz Earle's Cleanse and Polish alongside the Gentle Face Exfoliator. These two together work so incredibly well to give me such a nice base before I apply a full glam of makeup, especially when I have like a party or a wedding or a special occasion. These two are always used, and these I use in the shower just because I find them easiest to be used in that way. So for anyone who is struggling out there to get that perfect base and for their skin to like look skin-like and not too cakey, I would highly recommend cleansing and exfoliating before you do your full base routine and your full glam. Another thing that I'd like to just add is to make sure you're cleansing, toning and moisturizing your skin every single day in the morning and the evening. Not only will this help your makeup sit on your skin really well, but you also want to make sure that you're taking off all that dirt and grime from your face at the end of every day. If you guys are struggling with kind of getting clear skin or just working on your skincare, just make sure that you're cleansing, toning and moisturizing every single day, twice a day. Again, if you guys have been watching my channel for a while now, you will know that I love the Hot Cloth Cleanser. It basically feels like you're in a spa every time you use these, but one of my favorite products for when I'm cleansing, toning and moisturizing is the Liz Earle Tonic. Now, the reason why I like this is because it's in a spray bottle. So this basically means that you have no faffing around with applying this onto a cotton pad or anything like that. You can just spray this all over your face and you are good to go. So I've actually cleansed and exfoliated already, so I'm just going to put a little bit of this on. And it literally is as simple as that. Next up, I'm going to move on to a moisturizer, but because I'm going to be using the Nivea Aftershave Balm as my primer, I like to go in with something light for a moisturizer, only because this is quite heavy and thick on the skin. So for that, I'm going to be using the light moisturizer here, and this is for combination to oily skin. So I'm just going to get a few pumps of this onto my hand, and I'm just going to apply this straight on to my skin. So when you are doing your base, you want to make sure that you let the moisturizer sit on your skin for at least 5 minutes so it's nice and soaked up into your skin, and so that you're not left with a slippery mess on your face when you're applying your primer and foundation. So it's been about 5 minutes, and now I'm going to move on to primer, and I'm going to be using the Nivea Aftershave Balm. This has obviously been made famous by Nikki Tutorials, and I have been trying this out recently, and it is really good. I'm only taking a tiny amount of this on to my fingers and then putting this all over my face and kind of like working it into my skin until it becomes a little bit tacky. And by tacky, I mean that it gets a little bit like sticky, but it's not like glue sticky. It just gives a slightest bit of like stick to your fingers. If I was using a light primer, I would go in with a heavier moisturizer, just because I want to make sure that my skin is nice and moisturized before we go in and put any kind of makeup on top of it. And believe it or not, my favorite thing about getting my foundation really like perfect is the exfoliating stage. And I urge anyone who is struggling to get their foundation sitting really nicely on their skin to exfoliate beforehand. I kid you not, it's made such a huge difference in the way that my makeup applies onto my skin. So I just wanted to make sure that I share the information to you guys, because I'm hoping that it can help some of you out there as well. So moving on to the actual base itself, I have been doing something a little bit different recently, and that is going in with my concealer first. So the concealer that I will be using is the Maybelline Anti-Age Eye Rewind Concealer. I'm pretty sure I said that name right, but you guys know me, I always say it wrong. The important part of picking your actual base products is picking products which work for your skin, and also your preference of what you want these products to do. For example, I love this concealer because it brightens and conceals the areas that I want to highlight and conceal. And the reason why I also like this is because it lasts a long time on my skin as well. If, for example, you don't really like that much coverage and you like a really dewy finish, then try something like the Bare Minerals Stroke of Light Concealer. That is super, super, super lightweight, and you almost feel like you've not got anything on your skin. This one I would say is medium coverage. If you want full-on glam coverage with your concealer, then try the Kenvyn Aucoin Celestial Skin Enhancer Concealer. That stuff is like the big daddy of concealers. It is like the best concealer out there. If you're looking for that crazy pigment and that crazy coverage, then that is definitely something to look at. It is very expensive, but you seriously need the tiniest amount. But enough of that said, I'm going to go in with my concealer first. And the reason why I've been doing this recently is because I feel like I want to start applying less product on my face, especially when it comes to foundation and things like that. So I'm going to go and highlight and conceal in the usual areas of my face. You guys know the drill: underneath my eyes, on my forehead, the bridge of my nose, around my mouth and my chin. So now that I've got my concealer and highlight all on my face, I'm gonna go and blend that out with my damp beauty blender. Now you wanna make sure this is quite damp. If it's not damp enough, you can definitely spray some Fix Plus spray on it. And I'm just gonna slightly blend those areas out using the pointy end. One of the biggest reasons why I am just obsessed with the Beauty Blender is that it gives you a really flawless finish. You know, sometimes when you use brushes, you can kind of see like brush strokes on your skin. You do not get that with this. I have tried kind of knockoff versions of the original Beauty Blender, but I always go back to the Beauty Blender because I genuinely feel like this is the best makeup sponge out there. So now that I've kind of blended most of those areas out, I'm gonna go in with my foundation. I switch up my foundations quite a lot, and this all depends on my mood, the kind of coverage I want, the kind of finish I want, the condition of my skin. So the foundation that I'm gonna be using today is the Giorgio Armani Maestro foundation in the shade 6.5. The reason why I love this foundation is because it really helps my skin look and feel like skin. It's not heavy, but it is good coverage. I would say it's like medium coverage, but I just love the formula of this. I think it's one of the best foundations that I've tried. I'm still making my mind up whether I love the Maestro or the Luminous Silk more. I feel like they're both such great foundations. I'm kind of like loving them both. I'm gonna put this on at the back of my hand first, and then I'm going to blend it into my skin. So I'm going to drop this on the back of my hand, and I'm going to pick it up on the rounder domed end of the Beauty Blender. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start applying this and focusing on the areas that we haven't put any concealer on. I do like to go over my mouth and my forehead area with the Beauty Blender on top of the concealer, just to make sure that all the colours are nicely blended in together. If you do want more coverage in certain areas, I always tend to like a little bit more coverage in kind of the centre part of my face. You can go in with a bit more foundation and dab it all in. Just gonna put some lip balm on because I totally forgot. I'm just going back in with a pointy end underneath my eyes where we applied the concealer. Make sure everything's nice and blended. Now that we've got all of the cream and liquid products on our base, I'm going to go and set all the areas. When it comes to setting, I generally only set the areas where we have highlighted and concealed, only because in the other areas of my face, I generally don't get oily or anything, But if you do, you can go ahead and set those areas as well. Powder that I am loving to set my highlight and concealer is the Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder. But I think I might mix the brightening and setting together to set those areas. Now I'm just going to set all the other areas, so my forehead, down the bridge of my nose, and around my mouth. Now that my base is done, I am quickly going to go and put a little bit of makeup on the rest of my face, and I will be back right now. So this is the end of the perfect base routine / tutorial video. I really hope you guys found it useful and you got some tips and tricks from it. If you guys have any tips and tricks of your own, then please leave comments below to share with everyone else, because sharing is caring. So yeah, I guess that is all for now. So just make sure you're cleansing, toning and moisturizing twice a day, morning and evening. And don't forget to exfoliate, because that is one of my keys to getting perfect base makeup every time. And I guess that's all for now, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!